prophet Nostradamus was born in 1503. Wow! Can you imagine that? 1503, that's when this man was born, and today we're still talking about him. There are people that are analyzing his books and his prophecies, trying to figure out what he was trying to say, because he did talk about like these twins and that an attack would come from the sky. Was that a reference to 9/11? He talked about Germany, Hitler in his prophecies, and you know, there's people trying to analyze this, but when you start thinking about prophecies and prophets, many other prophets come to mind. Jesus was a prophet. I mean, he talked about things that are written down, and many people today believe him like they're religious facts. And Muhammad was a prophet. There's all these different prophets around the world. Are prophets still happening out there? Is there anyone that you could think of today who is a prophet? I mean, and no, people, don't talk about celebrities like Oprah. She is not a prophet, and she never will be. Neither will Dr. Phil. Politicians, what politician do you think might be a prophet? Somebody that has a great insight. George Bush, I mean, you know, give me a break. But is there anyone out there right now that you could think of as a prophet? Because the fact is, there were people who were seers. And, you know, for me, it's very simple. To be a seer, what you have to do is be able to connect the dots. If you can connect the dots from A to B to C to D, you can become a prophet, because you will see the continuation. That's what I do when I talk about aliens, pod people, when I talk about celebrities and how even politicians now are becoming alien, and the way that our future and life is being controlled by these people. That is, in essence, being a prophet. Ancient people had no problems with that, because it was very easy for them. You know, they didn't have all these negative influences in their lives. Many, to a great extent, it was all about positive, that they believed in themselves, they believed in things, and they believed in a simple nature. Now, believing in simple is something that I'm really good at. I can believe in really simple things. So I started, you know, to do more research in that, and I started to talk to psychiatrists and psychologists and all these different people that I thought would be able to help me on my quest to have a better understanding of things. And aside of the fact that they started trying to put pills at me, because what I learned is that they're not able to deal with excitement and prophecies. They're not able to deal with people on a one-to-one basis. They got to push pills at you. But the ones that did talk to me, they started talking about deep and meaningful things, about like how children are so innocent when they're born, and that they have this insight and they believe in things, and that gives them a vision. And that's how ancient people were. So I started to think to myself that that's what I gotta do, is be really simple. And if I'm really simple, I can have an insight. So I just simpled myself down. That's not dumbing down. I simpled myself down. And along the way, things became clear. And as things become clear, I start connecting dots. So when you start connecting the dots, you have a better vision of what's going on. And that even brings into it stuff like science. Look at this. Ordinary electrons turned into high-speed demons. These are actual files from NASA. This is actually happening. So when you start thinking about that, you know, prophecies and science and how do they interact, there is a lot of truth to both of them, but not in each one individually. So what I'm trying to say is, don't believe any one. It's a combination. Nostradamus talks about 2012 as the end of time, and that's the same time that the Mayans talk about it. So this becomes an interesting thing of connecting the dots. How can this be? And when you start looking at years and you start looking at calendars and stuff, it becomes very clear. We are on the verge of destruction. When you see that huge ice fields in the Antarctic, 160 square miles of it breaks off, you got to think that something is happening to our Earth. But there are so many other things with emerging viruses and bacteria and all these different things. And at the same time, there are so many other problems that we're encountering. And one of the biggest things that we encounter is that belief that we are different, that we are separate. So let's get back to aliens. First of all, there are aliens. We have been visited. we are part, to the most part, of pod people. Not everyone, but there's a lot of pod people out there who have been infiltrated, they have been brainwashed, and they are part of the alien subculture. As such, we have to be on the lookout for them. We have to keep a watch. We have to be vigilant, because if we're not vigilant, they are going to come after us. And sometimes that means that we have to really become very protective of our society. I mean, really, if an alien came down right now, do you think that they would be walking on their feet and talking to you in English? And if they did come down here, how would you greet them? What would you suggest? Would you take them out to dinner? And if you took them out to dinner, what would you want to offer them to eat? What do you think an alien eats for subsistence? These are interesting things to think about, because if they're a living organism, they need sustenance. That's why I keep saying that it's highly probable that if aliens exist, that because they exist, the fact is that they will be eating something of great protein, and that could be very well be us. I mean, we could be on their menu. So get the things that, if you're going to invite an alien to barbecue, make sure you're not the thing that's being barbecued. Other than that, enjoy it. Get to know them, because aliens are something that we can learn a lot from. Recently, I was watching last night, as a matter of fact, this debate about Hillary and Obama to do with the way society and religion is and stuff like that. And one of the things that really impressed me was Hillary Clinton's talk about America having a moral authority, and that it should have a moral authority to go out and integrate other cultures, to teach them to become more American, to become more Western. And I thought, how phenomenal that finally we have a politician who can speak her mind. And sometimes when she speaks her mind, she even tells us the truth. So that's a really phenomenal thing. And this moral authority, to me, is also a moral superiority. And that is what I feel that when aliens arrive, they will be bringing to us. They will be coming down here. They will be moral. And they will tell us how to do things. They will guide us how to do things, because their way is the way. And that's something that we as human beings have been doing on this planet. Whenever we go to other cultures, I mean, think about it. Today we're building bigger cars to use more gas, and then we're growing food that can be made into gas, while 40% of the world is starving to death. And what do we think about that? Oh, well, it's not us. So we have this moral authority, and that's exactly the same thing aliens will have when they come here. So make sure you invite them out, but keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on them, because you never know. And if you can't watch it and you can't keep an alien undercover, they're going to take you over and you're going to become a pod person. So stay tuned, because I am going to capture an alien. I mean, I am getting ready and I'm going to catch me an alien. Be watching.